Xero is one of the leading cloud-based accounting softwares on the market that is specifically designed for small businesses. But if you're new to the accounting world, don't worry. This tutorial on how to use Xero, the beginner's guide, should easily get you started. So let's get right into it. If you've already purchased a license to Xero software, go ahead and launch that. And if you don't, go to Xero.com, click Try Xero for free, enter a secure password, and activate your account. Once you activate your account, you're ready to get started. The first thing you'll see is the Xero Dashboard, so let's dive into that. The dashboard in Xero is going to put all the most important information that you need right there in front of you. Because there's so much going on in a business, the dashboard can allow you to get a quick snapshot of how things are going just by looking at some of these widgets. We'll get into them a little bit more detail afterwards, but let's take a quick look at them just to get an understanding of how things work. Over here, you'll be able to see all your business bank accounts. This is a super important one to pay attention to because you always want to know how much cash you have in your bank account. This widget is similar, but just focuses on your business savings accounts. This widget allows you to pay attention to how much of your cash is coming in and out each month. So for example, in January, you can see that you had 11.6K come in and 10.5K go out. So there was a net increase of 1.1K in cash. This can be helpful to keep an idea of how your cash is trending month over month. The account watch list allows you to pay attention to your most important accounts, seeing what their balance is this month and year to date. For example, for an e-commerce business, looking at your advertising account is a really important one to pay attention to. Invoices owed to you is also a very important one because you want to make sure that you're collecting your receivables quickly. And bills you need to pay is helpful to be able to have an idea of how much expected cash outflows you're going to experience in the upcoming weeks and months. You can edit the dashboard over here to be able to include or exclude widgets that you need or don't, and you can also reorganize stuff to your liking. So with that being said, let's go a little deeper. Before you can begin to start using Xero for your business, you need to set up your company. So to do that, go to Settings and then Organization Settings. In Organization Details, you'll be able to add in all the basic information for your company. So what the name is, the trading name, a logo, so that it appears on your invoices, what your line of business is, and contact details. Under Users, you can include any other individuals that you want to be able to access the software, so that be your accountant or your bookkeeper. Currencies is where you're going to manage which currencies are actually relevant to your business. For a lot of you, this might just be the US dollar, but if you're working internationally, you're going to want to include multiple currencies. It's important to note that not all Xero plans include multi-currency support, so make sure you have the right plan if you need it. One of Xero's strengths is that it connects with a lot of different softwares out there, so this is where you'll be able to take care of that. There are also a whole bunch of additional settings over here that are a little bit more detailed, so we won't get into them here, but the one that you might want to keep in mind is the invoice settings, because you want to make sure that the invoices that you send out have all the important information necessary. You also want to make sure that they look nice. Over here, you'll be able to update things like your font, spacing, logo, etc. The next step is to set up your bank feeds, and that includes stuff like credit cards and PayPal as well if you have them. To do that, we'll go to Accounting and Bank Accounts, and then click Add Bank Account. Xero is able to connect directly with your bank accounts and pull in the information in more or less real time. That makes keeping your books up to date a lot easier than if you had to bring in the information manually, which you can still do if you need to do an import. So go ahead and add in all of your relevant bank accounts here. The information might take some time to actually get into the system. To find out if your bank actually has a feed that plugs into Xero, check the partner bank feeds in the Xero Help Center. I have a couple of example bank accounts that I brought in, so we'll be able to use these to now go ahead and reconcile all of our transactions. Since Xero is linked directly to the banks, all the transactions are pulled in automatically for us to be able to review and reconcile. So you just click on Reconcile Transactions right there, and you'll come to the reconciliation screen. Performing reconciliations on a consistent basis, whether that be weekly or monthly, is how you're going to make sure that your books are up to date. Couple that with regularly updating your invoices and your bills, and you'll have a really strong understanding of your business's cash flows. Now, if this is your first time doing a reconciliation in Xero, we highly recommend watching this video that'll explain it in a little bit more depth, because this is just a basic overview. It's a fairly intuitive process, but if you start doing it incorrectly, it can start screwing up all your books, so make sure that you know what you're doing. Maybe talk to your accountant to get an understanding of how this process should work. So now that we've understood how to set up our accounts and how to do reconciliation, we're going to go to another really important part in Xero, which is invoices. So to get there, we're going to click on Business, and in here you're going to see a lot of different menu items that you can choose that are very useful, like your short-term cash flow or your business snapshot. Those might be a little bit advanced, so we're going to focus on invoices, which is a pretty universally easy one to understand and pretty important. So let's create a new invoice just as an example. So for that, you're going to click on New Invoice, and over here you're going to be able to put in all the basic information. So let's start off with who it goes to. So here we'll pick Coco Cafe. We'll give it a reference, so say something like January. It'll automatically append an invoice number, usually in a sequential pattern. The issue date will default to today, and the due date will be a function of what your settings are. In this case, it is due immediately, but you could set it to 7 days, 14 days, or whatever else. Here you can choose if you allow for online payments of the invoice. You're going to choose the currency and choose any sort of branding things you want to apply to it. Now, the important part is actually adding in what the invoice includes. So we're going to click on Item and choose a development work hour rate. And we're going to say that we did 8 hours of work at $190 a pop. That'll get codified to the sales account, and there's going to be a tax rate on that if applicable, but that also we can choose over here. That'll automatically calculate the amount, and that'll sum up over here. At this point, you can hit preview just to kind of get an idea of what it looks like. Oh my goodness, so beautiful. And there you go, you've created your first invoice. So now that we've looked at invoices, let's look at another crucial part of the business, which is your bills. To get there, we're going to click on business and then go bills to pay. So as you can see, this is a pretty similar interface to our last section, which was invoices. The main difference is that invoices is for clients or customers and bills are for suppliers or vendors. So they should be fairly familiar to you right now, but to create a new bill, we'll just click new bill. Here we can say who it came from. So from Hamilton Smith. The date, let's say it's due at the end of February, put in the reference, which is going to be how they refer to the bill per their system. So let's just say HS0045. Here you can choose the currency, and here you actually enter in the item. So let's say we're going to say I bought book Fish Out of Water, and I bought 3 of them because I really like this book, and each one cost me $5. And I'm going to book that to advertising somehow. I will say that these were not taxed, so tax exempt. And there you go, my total amount for this bill will be the $15. Here I can hit approve, and we're done. There you go, bill approved, how wonderful. And that's pretty much all there is to creating invoices and bills in Xero. So if you navigate to business again, you can see some of the other things over here that you can take a look at, like purchase orders and pay runs. You can check these out on your own time because some of these might be a little bit too advanced for this video, but at the end of the day, if you have any questions, you can ask them in the comments below or ask your accountant. Instead, for now, let's go over to accounting and then reports, where we can look at the reports for our financials. So over here, you'll see a lot of different reports that Xero has made available, like your cash summary, your annual accounts, your balance sheet, your profit and loss, just a lot of different options that you can go through to find out the information that you need. If you want to see any of the reports, all you have to do is click on them, and over here you're going to be able to choose which date that the report should apply to, and even look at comparatives if necessary. So for example, we can see our $15 bill that we just created for Hamilton Smith, which is less than 1 month old. If I decide to change the date of the report to say end of last month and then hit update, all of a sudden that bill is gone. Once you're done with your report, you can click down here to save it or to export it into a PDF or an Excel, whatever works for you. There are a couple of other features in Xero that we're not going to get into too much depth, but you have payroll where you're able to actually pay your employees. You have projects where you're able to keep track of larger projects that have specific staffing costs or material expenses. And you have contacts as well to keep track of your customers, your suppliers, and the people working at your company. You can also use the quick create new button over here to create an invoice, a bill, a contact, whatever, anything really, really quickly. Now, we did mention this at the beginning, but one of the things that makes Xero so powerful is that it comes with a lot of different complementary apps that you can use that can augment the capabilities of the software. So to access those, you can click on the dots over here and then look at some of your connected apps. If you go to the Xero App Store, you can check out all the various apps that they offer that will make sense for your business. Lastly, let's talk about the pricing of Xero. We recommend that you start with a 30-day free trial to see if Xero is actually a good fit for you. If you like what you see, the company offers 3 pricing tiers: early, growing, and established, that range from $13 to $70 a month, but they do often have discounts. If you're not sure which tier to start with, you can always start with the cheapest option and then upgrade as necessary. You can also ask your accountant for a recommendation about which plan makes sense for your business. So thanks for watching. This was a beginner's guide on how to use Xero for small businesses. If you like what you saw, hit all the various buttons below and leave a comment if you have any questions. For now, take care.